Talk to me. WSRadio.com.
The San Diego Council on Literacy brings you Literacy for All with your host, Jose Cruz.
Welcome to the show. I'm Jose Cruz from the San Diego Council on Literacy. You're listening to the Literacy for All radio show here on WS Radio, and we're actually waiting for our guests to come in from the American Academy of Pediatrics. And then in the meantime, we're going to talk about a number of the other literacy programs that are affiliated with the San Diego Council on Literacy, and there are 30 of them. So when you look at the work that we're doing here in San Diego County, well, what we're proud to talk about is that we do have 30 programs that work individually, but also under the banner of the San Diego Council on Literacy. And it really does help us to make it easier for people to access the services, access volunteer opportunities, find the help that they're needing, and also just help them find ways to contribute so that we're making things better overall on a large scale. And of course, the programs are doing what they do on a community level. So it's a good thing that we have here, and just glad to have all the investments that we're getting from so many different partners, going all the way to the San Diego Union Tribune, KPBS, and right here on WS Radio with Wade Taylor. Wade, are you listening?
Oh, yeah. And I was just reflecting on, like you said, the great partnerships and that great event that you recently had, and just the impact you can have. That sometimes, there's a bunch of people doing amazing things out there, and sometimes they just need a little help or a little nudge in one area. And you guys do a great job of helping many, many different people with that little nudge, with that little assistance.
And thank you, Wade. And Wade's referencing we had the national conference on adult education here in San Diego last week. Whew, God, lots happened since then. The Pro Literacy Conference, and Wade was on our panel of media folks who helped to contribute to greater awareness about literacy in San Diego County. And so we did have representation from KPBS and Union Tribune, as well as Jay Walsher Communications, and just folks who help. Well, let's just say that little nudge that people need, that little bit of help that they need, starts with them knowing about where to get help. So every community has the ability, we believe, to raise awareness, and it's just a matter of the willing partners. I mean, we're fortunate. I think we might be the only literacy program in the country, Wade, I have to tell you, that has its own radio show.
Yes. Well, I'm happy to participate in that. And again, just making every effort from every angle. And just like you're helping, say, with little nudges, little things that help, talk a little bit about how people that are listening, maybe you have a company, but it's not as big as a Union Tribune or whatever. There are ways that people can give a little bit of help.
Absolutely. I mean, and that little bit of help makes a difference. And so let's start with one, talking about the challenge that there are a lot of people out there of all ages who need help with reading. So being an advocate and talking about how this is important to quality of life in our community. Volunteering, reading to children is one thing you can do. Tutoring children is another thing you can do. Tutoring an adult is another thing you can do. And then one of the things that we've been really involved in lately is the book giveaways. We know that 60% of low-income children have no books at home. So we wonder why they're struggling when they get to school, or why they struggle, in school. Part of that is that there's a particular resource, a real basic one, that they don't have. And they already have an issue with limited exposure to print and words. And so the reason I'm bringing this up, in case you're listening, and you have books, new books, or like new books for children, and we're really targeting that 0 to age 8, age 9 age group for these books, and we can use them. So just let us know. We've been really fortunate this year to have help from the Molina Foundation. They donated 12,000 brand new books for low-income children in our community. And then Houghton Mifflin Harcourt donated another 4,400. So there's one of the places where we're having an impact.
Yeah, and well, two thoughts come to mind. One is just it's being proven out how important the kids at that 0, to 5, 6-year-old age need to hear words. They need to see words. They need to understand language. And, it's often been said 70% of the success in school is from things that happen outside the school. And so this is a perfect example of that. And then just real quick, I'm assuming you're familiar with what Dolly Parton does, right?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
So share with everybody a little bit about just what a heartwarming story that is.
And you got to love her because, she, yes, famous and probably affluent. And she did her research. She was looking for what she could do to make a difference for children in this country. And anyone pretty much anywhere who wants books delivered in the mail to their home for their kids can benefit from Dolly Parton's work. I think it's called let me think here. Is it the Imagine? I'm supposed to know this, right? I'm the literacy guy. Imagination Library. So that's easy access and really an easy way to contribute to the kids out there and helping them to lay down, helping to get that exposure to print and also to language the way that we need them to. What we call oracy, which is the foundation for literacies. It's the spoken word. Well, anyway, while Wade and I have been going back and forth regarding the books and the things that we do out there to make a difference, our guest has come in, and I know that he's like, "Oh my goodness, how you doing, Pradeep?"
I thought it was at 2:30.
So you're the 2:00 guy. Don't worry about it. And we have a lot to talk about here, and we have a second segment, so no worries. So this is Pradeep Gidwani. I don't think I've ever said your last name before. Now we've known each other about a good 10,
absolutely
10 years here, and I didn't know your title. See, for me, you're my favorite pediatrician involved with the American Academy of Pediatrics, the Reach Out and Read program. But your title is you're the Medical Director of Healthy Development Services and First Steps Home Visiting Program. Is this your organization or is it an offshoot of AAP?
Well, it's actually a really great story. So Reach Out and Read actually started because there was a pediatrician in Boston who was working at a public clinic, and his name's Barry Zuckerman, and they would have books in the waiting room, and the staff came in and said, Dr. Zuckerman, the patients are stealing the books. And he said, oh, good, let's get more books.
Oh, right, yeah.
And so it's a national model. One of the great parts is it's a national model that really allows pediatricians to give books as part of their screening of kids developmentally. But, wow, the stories you hear are amazing.
And here's the thing, and you would think people say, hey, yeah, give books to kids. There's a segment of the population out there that believes that kids should check out books and learn how to return them. And and Reach Out and Read says, give these books to the kids. And are you directly doing that yourself in your office?
Well, actually, my work is not in the offices, so I support my colleagues who are in the offices. And I will tell you, we have a great group of people. We have an advisory board of pediatricians that they make this happen. They raise money, they train. We have a great staff. And again, the piece that's so magical is there's something about a pediatrician, the authority we have, that parents really love it. And the part that's great is it starts early, and a lot of parents don't understand. Even when they're babies, you need to start talking to them. You need to start telling them stories.
We always say it's never too, one thing we say about adult literacy, it's never too late. Yeah. And you say it's never too early.
Absolutely. And the part that, some of the things that we share, I know that we really love is it's the whole art about storytelling. So even if a parent can't read, they can go through with the pictures and tell stories with the kids. And the kids love it. What the kids love is that face-to-face interaction. And that's one of the big things that we want to talk about. more recently,
Right.
is we want to talk about the fact that what ends up happening more and more is parents are on their phones. They're looking at their phones and not looking at their kids. And I'll tell you, there's something magical about sitting down with a child, having a book in between the two of you. You're sharing the attention with the book and telling a story.
Well, here's the thing, and and I hear people already saying, "Oh man, it's a shame kids are out there. They're holding the smartphones and all that." And it's like that's not their first choice, and that's what you're saying.
Faces and people are their first choice. Kids love their parents, and they know their mom's voice when they're born.
Right.
It's the most amazing thing.
Yeah. So, and you give us so much hope doing the work that you're doing. What I want people to understand is it's not all lost. Books are still number one. We're number one, and
Yes.
right. And so, and there's so much that we're going to take a break. And we have our next segment. You're going to be there, and I'm sorry for the confusion. And we're going to talk more about what you're doing and how you have to do the work that you do to get those books, because they're not free. Sometimes they are, but somebody's got to do the work to make all that happen. So, and then more just what you've been doing. And if we have to, Pradeep, we're going to bring you back for another time, because I've seen you speak. You've already impressed me today, but you did a long time ago, and I know you're passionate about this work. So we're going to come back with the next segment and maybe a few more in the future. So we talk more about what's happening with our pediatricians. You've been listening to the Literacy for All radio show on WS Radio, the worldwide leader in internet talk, and we'll be right back after a few messages.
Can you help a newborn baby in need? Sometimes the blessing of birth becomes complicated and perilous. Miracle Babies is there to help. Miracle Babies helps moms and dads give their all to their struggling little baby, but still need more. When you give to Miracle Babies, you help them give more. More skin-to-skin care, breast milk, and love. Go to miraclebabies.org and give right now. Be their miracle.
Looking to be a successful entrepreneur? The virtual assistant industry continues to be a top choice for those looking to start their own business. The problem can be how to become a virtual assistant. Many turn to the Bible of the VA industry, the book, Virtual Assistant, the series, and it's the perfect guide for office managers, executive assistants, and other administrative professionals looking to make the transition from employee to successful business owner. Go to vatheseries.com to get your copy today.
Small businesses are the lifeblood of America's economy. Every Thursday, SBA Radio interviews industry professionals and is dedicated to provide small businesses with timely insights and innovations. Visit www.sbaradio.us for details.
Homeless veterans and their families are suffering and need our support, but many won't ask or don't know that help is within reach. Veterans Community Services is here to help. Amazingly, about 35% of the homeless in our neighborhoods are veterans with families. Low-income veterans or their friends are encouraged to contact Veterans Community Services and reach out for help with housing and other services. Call now, 800-974-9909.
I raised $8,000 to build schools for South African children.
After realizing how many people go hungry in San Diego, I now volunteer at a food pantry.
I'm spending the next year doing volunteer projects across 3 countries and helping in ways they designate to be the most helpful.
The World Link program at the Joan B. Kroc Institute for Peace and Justice recognizes the potential of youth as agents of social change. Learn how you can help youth become a generation of leaders in action at peace.sandiego.edu.
Can you imagine a world without children? A world where children don't play, or dream, or imagine.
At St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, we're working every day to find cures for diseases that strike down children, because we can't imagine a world without children. Can you?
Finding cures, saving children. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. To learn how you can help, log on to our website, stjude.org.
Donate cash, furniture, clothes, and other gently used household items to Father Joe's Villages and get a nice tax break in April. Every donation is tax deductible. Believe you can make a difference. Be Father Joe. Go to neighborhood.org or call 1-800-HOMELESS to donate today.
Talk to me. WSRadio.com.
The San Diego Council on Literacy brings you Literacy for All with your host, Jose Cruz.
Welcome back to the show. I'm Jose Cruz from the San Diego Council on Literacy. You're listening to the Literacy for All radio show, and our guest is Pradeep Gidwani, and he's the Medical Director of Healthy Development Services and First Steps Home Visiting Programs. I love the way that sounds. And also just a rock star with the American Academy of Pediatrics, and he's a pediatrician. One of the things I want to ask you about, Pradeep, very important because this has been coming up lately, and we can talk about Family Literacy Month, and I know that's something you want folks to know about. We do talk about the lack of resources for low-income communities, but I had a guest on not that long ago who said let's not get stuck on that. That part of what we're dealing with out there is social emotional development. What can you say to that?
Oh, absolutely. So one of the key success in our lives is our ability to get along with others. And social emotional development is just a fancy way of saying how do we get along with others, and there's a certain set of skills that we look at. Mm-hmm. One of the skills is that interaction between people. It's that taking turns, that back and forth that we have, just like we're doing on the radio right now. Yeah. But that starts with parents. It starts with moms, actually when the babies are in the mom's belly when they're pregnant. Mm-hmm. It's the mom's heartbeat, back and forth, back and forth. It's that rhythm. So learning how to interact in the rhythm and how to get along with others is what social emotional development is.
Interacting in the rhythm, I like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's right there. And that's where reading is beautiful, right? Because reading has that rhythm of back and forth. You read, you see how the child gets it, you come back and forth, back and forth. You're creating that rhythm, and it's the relationship. And that's the big thing is the social emotional development is all about relationships. And actually, our work with Reach Out and Read is we also give a message about literacy, but we give a message about social emotional development and how important you are to your child.
Amazing. Because it's right there in our face, and we don't really think about, okay, mom and child, but we don't think about there's a relationship there that affects other relationships. And even a person's relationship with themselves.
Their lifelong relationships with others, how they do in school, how they are at work. We all know that person who they come into the room and they just light up the room and you feel really good when they're there. You also know the person who comes in the room who's like a dark cloud.
Yeah.
And so that's really that ability to regulate ourselves inside, to be able to like the gas pedal on a car, to go faster, to go slower.
Very good. And so, and at the same time that we can get ahead of the game early, we can fall behind early.
Absolutely.
And so that's part of the role that you're playing out there. Yeah.
Well, that's the beautiful part. So when we think about literacy, a lot of times we think about it when kids have language already. But before they have language, they're listening and they're taking information in. So from, even when babies are in utero, it's great to talk to them. One of my favorite things is to see dads that talk to their babies when they're in utero. And then when the baby's born, they actually recognize the father's voice. It is hard to believe.
Amazing. Wow. See, so the kids are fooling us. Before we actually get to meet them. So there's that relationship is starting early.
Yeah.
Yeah, incredible.
And you brought up an important point about low income and the ideas behind it. One of the things that's been really big in the press is in lower income families, they tend to use less words, so the kids have a less word-rich environment. Yeah. Now, the interesting part is it's not that low income families are not doing that intentionally, it's they don't know. So when we give them the opportunity and we teach them about it, every parent wants the best for their child. Doesn't matter their income level.
Right.
The beautiful part about one of our programs, Reach Out and Read, is you're actually giving books to the family.
Right.
And that sends a message that the book's important, that the parent is important, the kids play with it, and it's, again, about that relationship, and it's amazing.
So you, I guess I want you to say this, and I'm guessing it's true, and it's maybe a little bit painful, but otherwise it wouldn't be happening. There wouldn't be books. They wouldn't understand. Here here would be another child that got left behind because of simple things not happening.
Yeah, left behind, missed opportunity, the parent not knowing how important it is. But when the pediatrician says, read to your child 15 minutes a day, and encourages parents, they do it. And again, they want to know. Parents are hungry to do things for their kids.
Yeah. And they'll listen to the pediatrician. I need to get a pediatrician. So
absolutely.
I'll start doing my yoga and my walks and all that stuff.
Yeah. Well, and you were saying things, one of the things I always say about pediatricians is, and I feel very lucky to be part of this group of doctors who take care of kids. And they're really a group of individuals who are, they're unique. They really are caring. They extend themselves to help their families. And they don't look at families and think, what's your income or anything else. All they think about is how can I help you and how can I help you help your child.
So how are you succeeding in getting the books that you need? Because every pediatrician office needs to get them. Somebody's got to, like I said, somebody's got to take care of that.
So we have two sets of logistical issues, should we say, right? So the one set of logistical issues are just getting the books. So offices raise money. Our local chapter of the American Academy of Pediatrics, where I work, we raise money for books. Now that part's great because we'll try to buy books in bulk. We'll distribute them. We'll work with offices. Our pediatricians are great champions. We had a nice little fundraiser called Laugh for Literacy recently.
I was there.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
A lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun.
And we heard from one of the families. So that's one piece. Now you can get people to give you money for books. The part that we have a harder time with is the books don't deliver themselves. The offices need support, and so you need staff. And so we have staff that's dedicated to this, and we're always raising money to make sure that they are there. And they've learned so much. They've been doing this for over a decade. And what you see is these great things where even as a pediatrician, as much as I know, I learned from my colleagues. My colleague Tara Millibrand, who is our director.
She's amazing.
Of Regenerate.
Yeah.
I remember she was talking to me about how it's very interesting as kids get older, parents think, oh, I don't need to keep reading to my kids. But what actually ends up happening is when you read to your kids when they're a little bit older, you'll be able to have them learn words that they may skip over otherwise.
Right.
And so they'll just skip over. And so more than anything, it also is, again, that relationship, that story, even at 12 and 13, reading with your kids. It's amazing.
Still vocabulary development in play. Is there like a prescribed book titles that you typically go back to that you kind of fall back on? Or?
Well, I will tell you, there has been an explosion of great books and great titles. I feel like there's so many people out there writing new books, but there's just so many. Like,
have you gotten to know a lot of children's books more than you thought you ever would?
Absolutely. Very, very Hungry Caterpillar. I mean, there's so many great ones. I'm a big fan of Curious George
I'm
myself.
doing a crossword puzzle right now. Help me with this. Frog and what? Do you remember it? It's a children's book. It's Frog and, I want to say Frog and Toad or something like that.
I think that's, I think it is Frog and Toad.
Oh, okay, all right. So anyway,
and there's just so many, and right now there's an explosion, and I always joke that it seems like every time we turn around, there's another actor or actress who's written a children's book. But there's so many great ones. Goodnight Moon. There's so many, and there's ones that actually teach about social emotional skills. The big part is it's that repetition. It's giving kids choice. It's getting that excitement. The other part that we always love to talk about is the routine. One of the great things at night is to have a bedtime routine, right? And so reading a book, kind of sitting down with your child, seeing how their day was, and it's amazing.
One of the joys of being a parent, you know? And we work in adult literacy, so we also have those parents who don't have the skills, and then they learn them, and then now they get to do this like a lot of us, read to kids.
Well, a lot of times we tell parents, even parents who have a low literacy, we try to make sure that they understand that the important part is the interaction and the communication. So we'll say, hey, look at the pictures and even make up a story. Right? And the best part is when they start saying how it matters to their kids, sometimes that's what motivates parents to learn to read themselves.
Yep, very good. We're going to have to bring you back, Pradeep, but I do want to give you a chance to talk about two things, Family Literacy Month, and then also how folks can learn more about what's happening at Reach Out and Read.
Well, you can just look up Reach Out and Read San Diego. We have a wonderful website. November will be Family Literacy Month, so we'll be talking a lot about family literacy, and again, this is where we work well together, the adult literacy and the early child literacy. And one of the things that's important is that in the month of November, we'll have we're going to have a story time at Barnes & Noble in Oceanside on November 6th at 10:30 a.m. That's one of the pieces. And another part that's really nice is the Barnes & Noble in Oceanside will be collecting books all month long to distribute to families in the area through their doctors.
Very good. They're doing a few things because
yeah.
we just did something with them a few weeks ago. So I'm glad to see Barnes & Noble jumping into the game with Reach Out and Read and Counsel on Literacy. It's a good thing.
I think the funny part is we have to figure out how do we get Amazon to help out,
Oh,
right?
boy. Yeah. Let's work on that a little bit.
But I think the other part too is that as kids get older, it's the sharing the books. It's going to the libraries. Going to the library is really nice because again, it gives kids and families that safe space and that safe place.
Right.
And I'll tell you, our librarians are just amazing. They will go out of their way to help people find what they need.
Very good. It's free at the library, the People's University. Books for kids and adults and such, a good place to hang out. Pradeep, any last words? Like I said, we're going to bring you back for a whole hour. So
all right, I'm looking forward to it. I think the thing I would say is to remind parents that in the everyday moments, talking, reading, singing with your kids is the way to enrich their world with words. Very good. I want this show to be out there. I know some of you are hearing this live right now from our website, but we'll get the podcast out to everyone. Pradeep's going to help put it out there, and that way you have access to this content. So glad to have you on the show, Pradeep. You've been, for the short amount of time, it's been rich and full. So Thank
appreciate
you,
it.
I look forward to coming back.
All right. We're going to do this again. You've been listening to the Literacy for All radio show. We're on WS Radio, the worldwide leader in Internet talk. And we're going to have Pradeep back. And we'll be back in a little bit with a new segment and a new guest.
Nowadays, internet devices are an integral part of your home. Everyone in your family has a smartphone, tablet, or a computer. Life is easier knowing that all your devices are secured and your family can surf the internet carefree. ESET Multi-Device Security Pack does just that. One license for all your devices. With ESET, it's simple to stay protected and save money. Enjoy safer technology with ESET Multi-Device Security Pack at ESET.com. That's ESET.com.
On the internet, your business's reputation can be unjustly destroyed in an instant. Don't wait for that to happen. Building and marketing your 5-star reputation can increase your business by as much as 19%. Take control of your reputation and have the 5-star reputation you deserve with Reputation Marketing Solutions by DSI Development. Become the go-to company by visiting 5starrepmarketing.com. The number 5starrepmarketing.com.
Hey, it's Catherine from Listen Local Radio. Moe's Guitars has proudly served the San Diego music community since 1975. Specializing in guitars, basses, mandolins, banjos, and ukuleles, they buy, sell, trade, and consign. If you're looking for lessons, repairs, accessories, and cool gear, you found the right place. Located in downtown La Mesa Village, stop by and check out their digs or visit moesguitars.com or their Facebook page. mozeguitars.com, 619-698-1185.
Tired of presentations with no impact, no inspiration, and no traction? Do dull speakers have you and your team disengaged and distracted by smartphones? Christopher McAuliffe brings energy, insights, and 2 decades of experience, delivered with punch, humor, and heart. Your team will leave energized, uplifted, and with a sense of purpose. Visit ChristopherMcAuliffe.com to bring some heat to your next speaking engagement. McAuliffe. ChristopherMcAuliffe.com. Nowadays, internet devices are an integral part of your home. Everyone in your family has a smartphone, tablet, or a computer. Life is easier knowing that all your devices are secured and your family can surf the internet carefree. ESET Multi-Device Security Pack does just that. One license for all your devices. With ESET, it's simple to stay protected and save money. Enjoy safer technology with ESET Multi-Device Security Pack at ESET.com. That's ESET.com.
Tired of presentations with no impact, no inspiration, and no traction? Do dull speakers have you and your team disengaged and distracted by smartphones? Christopher McAuliffe brings energy, insights, and 2 decades of experience, delivered with punch, humor, and heart. Your team will leave energized, uplifted, and with a sense of purpose. Visit ChristopherMcAuliffe.com to bring some heat to your next speaking engagement. McAuliffe. ChristopherMcAuliffe.com.